You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning, everyone. I am Frida Foster, and I am serving as your acting chairperson for this Friday, April 21st, 2023 meeting of the Harlem Community Development Corporation. Good morning once again. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with the policy of our parent corporation, Empire State Development, we welcome public comment on the items on the agenda. After each item is presented and any comments are received from the directors, we will allow members of the public to provide comments. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Please note for the record that the public was given the opportunity to comment on today's agenda items by submitting their written comments by 4:30 p.m. yesterday to hcdcboard@esd.ny.gov. There have been no comments received from the public. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I ask the directors if anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to the items that are on today's agenda. Seeing and hearing none, I'd like to now take the time to briefly go around the table and introduce yourselves, your name, and who you may represent. I will start with Good
morning, everyone. I am the lawyer, senior counsel for Empire State Development, and also counsel for Harlem Community Development Corporation. Pleasure to be here.
Good morning, I'm Judy Brown.
And she came out for us.
Thank you.
Can you speak up so you can be?
Good morning, everyone. Aziz Moore here for the Honorable New York State Senator Cordia O'Clair. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, everyone. Elsie Encarnacion, Chief of Staff for Deputy Speaker Diana Young.
Good morning, everybody. Gabriel Duenstein, representing Assemblymember Danny O'Donnell.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I hope we're all doing well today. My name is Cyril Brock, and I'm representing State Senator Jose M. Serrano.
Good morning, everyone. My name is America Munoz, and I'm representing Assemblymember Eddie Gibbs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jaleesa Quigley, and I'm representing Councilmember Sean Graham.
Good morning, everyone. Lamont Mays, Chief of Staff with New York State Assemblymember Inez.
Hello, I'm Dana Reed. I am a director.
Shauna Marks, designee for Congressman Adriano Espaillat.
Ernestine Bell Temple, representing Assemblyman Al Taylor.
Right. Curtis Archer, Harlem Community Development Corporation. And I noticed behind there's some people along the wall here.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Carr, and I'm working with HSI to re-rent the Cecil space and Midton space.
I'm Mark Shapiro, Chief Financial Officer for Housing and Services, as well as Cecil Housing Development Fund Corporation.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Snell Ringula, owner of Heat Caribbean Kitchen, executive chef, looking to rent Cecil's Minton location.
Good morning, Janice Shipman, from the Association of Black Chapter. Association of Black Social Workers, New York City chapter.
My name is Leora Neal. I'm also from Association of Black Social Workers, New York City chapter.
And I'm Gloria Scott, immediate past president for the Association of Black Social Workers. Been working on this project for 14 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Atiba Stevenson. I own the Suite Restaurant as Hotel Suite Restaurant, and I am also looking forward to hopefully renting out Cecil's Minton's. We formed the Legacy Hospitality Group. It's about 3 restaurants that we got together, to such a rich history when it comes to Cecil and the Minton's. So we want to make sure that, hopefully we get it, we can do it right.
Yeah. And sir?
Hi, my name is Brian Cook. I'm with the MWBE program for New York State.
Right.
Thank you and welcome, everyone. All right, our first agenda item today is the approval of the lease between Cecil Housing Development Fund Corporation and Legacy Hospitality Group for sublease of Cecil Hotel commercial space. Ms. Carleen Turner Beverly will present this item.
Thank you very much, Chair Foster. Good morning, HCDC directors, staff, and others assembled. My name again is Carleen Turner Beverly, and I am appearing in my capacity as in-house legal counsel for the New York State Urban Development Corporation, doing business as Empire State Development. In this capacity, I also serve as legal counsel to HCDC. I will be presenting 2 voting items today, as Acting Chair Foster shared. The first voting item concerns a sublease for commercial space within the Cecil Hotel, located at 206-210 West 118th Street. The Cecil Hotel is owned by HCDC and is master leased to the Cecil Housing Development Fund Corporation, which I'll refer to as Cecil HDFC. Cecil HDFC is an affiliate of Housing and Services Inc., HSI. HSI is a housing development fund company organized in accordance with Article 11 of the New York Private Housing Finance Law. Its operational mission is to end chronic homelessness, prevent displacement for those at risk, and improve housing conditions for marginalized populations through the development, management, and preservation of supportive housing and affordable housing stock. As an HSI affiliate, Cecil HDFC delivers on this operational mission with a robust array of supportive housing and social services programs based out of the Cecil Hotel. Pursuant to a 30-year regulatory agreement, A minimum of 60% of the Cecil units must be occupied by referrals from the NYC shelter system. This minimum is consistently exceeded by Cecil HDFC with respect to its operational leadership. The Cecil is a fixture in the community, and it is anticipated that the proposed sublease arrangement will greatly benefit the community. The lease at issue is between Cecil HDFC as the sublandlord and the Legacy Hospitality Group as the subtenant, which we heard earlier today is comprised of restaurants who are coordinating to form this collaborative. I'll provide a summary of the key terms and conditions of the lease, which are also spelled out in the board materials provided for today. Under the lease, the commercial space is to be used as a jazz supper club with a restaurant, cafe, bar, and lounge, and a retail food store, also inclusive of an administrative office and storage space. The term of the lease is for 10 years and 6 months, with the option to renew for up to 2 additional 5-year terms. The initial rent will generally be $19,500 per month for 2 years, and then commencing with year 3, rent will be adjusted yearly and will be 3% of the preceding year's base rent. The lease will be subject and subordinate to the terms and conditions of the lease between HCDC as successor in interest to Harlem Urban Development Corporation and Cecil HDFC as successor in interest to Cecil Hotel Development Corporation. That lease was dated in 1987, and those terms and conditions we continue to apply as modified by an agreement of lease modification that was dated June 5th, 2008. Key details for the legalese portion. These terms and conditions would include the insurance and indemnification requirements of original lease. As subtenant, Legacy Hospitality Group has acknowledged the elements of the premises that are listed on the state and national registers of historic places. Specifically, this is in reference to Minton's Playhouse, a famed jazz club founded in 1938 by tenor saxophonist Henry Minton, who notably was the first Black delegate to the local musicians union, which club was located on the first floor of the Cecil Hotel. Legacy Hospitality Group has agreed to comply with all applicable requirements regarding the use and occupancy of the premises. The Legacy Hospitality Group has further acknowledged the historic importance of the painted mural that's located at the back wall of the premises, which depicts 4 men playing jazz and a woman in a state of repose, and which is just iconic in terms of its cultural significance, and was painted in 1948. The Legacy Hospitality Group has agreed to not remove, alter, obstruct, or damage the mural, and further agrees to do all that is reasonably necessary to preserve and maintain the mural. The lease between Cecil HDFC and Legacy Hospitality Group has the potential to benefit the community greatly by yielding rental income that can support maintenance and improvement projects for the premises, as well as continued provision of much-needed social service programs and initiatives. It also bears noting that the Legacy Hospitality Group has agreed to furnish hot meals once a week for Cecil unit occupants and to open its restaurant twice a year, including once during the December holiday season for the exclusive use of occupants. Based on these factors, HCDC staff recommends approval of this lease.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.
And Madam Chair, if I may, I just want to also recognize representing Borough President, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, Keisha Sutton James.
Good morning. Sorry for my lateness.
No worries. I also wanted to just say that you have met from the Legacy Hospitality Group, Sunil and Atiba, and individually, you have not yet met, of course, McKinley Lamar, and also, Joel. Thank you, Joel Clacken. So individually, these restaurateurs owns some of the most prestigious and recognizable restaurants and cocktail lounges in NYC, and have many years of combined experience under their belt. Joe Clacken and Atiba are the owners of Suite Restaurant, Suite 704, which is an upscale casual dining, full-service restaurant with a Caribbean-inspired menu and specifically curated specialty cocktail menu. McKinley Lamar is the owner of Charm Bar and Restaurant. Charm, like its name, is charmingly designed and features a full range menu of delicious Caribbean-infused palate-pleasing dishes with an array of carefully crafted cocktails. Sunil is the owner and executive chef of Heat Caribbean Kitchen and Lounge. Heat offers Caribbean fusion food paired with signature cocktails and served to you in a modern, music, rustic, chic setting. I yield.
Thank you very much. It sounds very appetizing. Okay, we're going to open it up for discussion. Is there any discussion on the approval of the lease between Cecil Housing Development Fund Corporation and Legacy Hospitality Group? Yes, Dana. Oh, Dana.
I have 2 questions. If you could spend, well, it's not a question, but a request. If you could spend a few minutes refreshing me and hopefully others about the change in, it's not ownership, but the change in the subtenant, because there have been different restaurants in there and I've lost track. And so which leads to, is this a new lease or was there a lease that was broken? Has this previous lease expired? Like what's the background recent years?
New lease.
Yeah.
New lease. At the close of this year, the Harlem Jazz Enterprises, headed up by, of course, Dick Parsons, decided that they were going no further with that. In addition, as you know, there was a operating agreement with Arts in Common. And they also, because of that lease with Harlem Jazz Enterprise, decided to not go forward in 2023.
Sorry, go ahead. Isn't there a,
And the leases were expired, by the way.
they did expire?
Yes, they did. Yes.
But wasn't there a, there was Angel of Harlem partners were there or no?
Yeah, that's Arts in Common.
That is that,
Yes.
okay, so that's what, okay. Raphael.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So all of them, all of that has.
Correct.
I had a question about the Black social workers.
Oh,
you guys are obviously going to be moving, or you're going to be in that same.
That's the next item.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Are there any other discussion comments on this item? Yes, Lamont and then Dana.
The residential portion, is that in cooperation with the city's homeless services or other entities? And how long?
Yeah, exactly. Supportive services.
Yeah.
Are all over it. So as I said, we have the master lease with HSI, and they in turn have the sublease, of course, with the commercial tenant on the ground floor, Cecil and Minton's spaces.
And how many?
How many?
About 97, if I'm not mistaken. 89? Oh, thank you.
Lamont, Dana, and then Ernestine.
Oh, no, next, okay. Just to follow on, if we could hear, like, so there's 2 restaurant groups that are, like, how are you guys gonna work together? What's the
Oh,
vision?
no, one restaurant group.
Just one?
Yeah, Legacy Hospitality is the group. And these 2 are part of four folks. So that's Tiba, that's Sunil, and then there are 2 others, McKinley, and also Joe, thank you. And between the 4 of them, there are 3 restaurants that they currently do operate already.
All coming together and one under one lease, under one partnership.
Atiba?
So I would just like to add.
I'm sorry, just one moment, please.
Sorry.
Just procedurally in terms of the protocol that was announced, wait until we have all comments from the
Got it.
directors and then.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Dana, were you done? Well, after.
As protocol, then I would love to hear.
Okay, all right, Ernestine.
I was just curious, this is single people that live in the building or families indefinitely or until permanent housing is found? And are there any vacancies? And just a little bit about the process, please?
Okay, HSI.
Well, hold on. Hold on. Are there any questions for the directors or the representatives that don't involve asking the public for the public? Are there any questions? Any questions for our lawyer? No. Okay. All right. Now, we should go back to Dana's question because hers was first outside, yes? So can you repeat it? So like.
Would just love to hear more from you guys, how you came together, how you're gonna work together.
So me and Atiba, and Kinley and Joel, we all became friends through C Network, which is the Black and Minority Restaurant Coalition, which was formed during COVID to provide support to restaurants and owners during that time. You know, we're currently in a process of forming a 501(c) because, you know, we all did this to help each other. And then, you know, we came up, became friends, we were, you know, we did, you know, Thanksgiving initiatives, Christmas initiatives, you know, feeding the homeless and eating and stuff. And we became friends. And then this came up and we said, okay, guys, you know, we all trust each other. You know, we're all great operators. Everybody's good in their own field. I'm in the kitchen. Atiba is in the front, you know.
And if you don't mind me adding, so he spoke briefly about the Black Restaurant Coalition. You know, everyone, I'm not familiar totally with what happened prior to us coming over to Cecil's or better to Cecil's Minton. So, but we met the people, the great people who was at the prior leaseholders. Of course, we spoke and we asked, you know, some of the things, questions. Hey, you know, how was it? What's going on? Like, what would make someone leave? You guys got to understand, COVID hit the restaurant industry really, really hard. You know, so one of the things, the Black Restaurant Coalition, it's about 90 or 98 restaurants, 160, okay, restaurants that we all got together and we said we have to help each other because, you know, to move forward, it's more than just the government, expecting the government to step in and help. We have to do it ourselves. And so we got together, Joel Clacken, which is my business partner, the Sweet Restaurant. He's actually the president of the Black Restaurant Coalition. You know, so we're in a unique space to truly make this successful. You know, because we have support more than just what you see here from this coalition. So as he also pointed out, the initiatives, you know, hearing what HSI does, and excuse me, I'm very nervous. Hearing what HSI does, you know, it was intriguing to us. First of all, the history and the richness of what Minton's is, you know, to this community, to the jazz community, you know, to music. Of course, is extremely intriguing, but to understand that there's a connection, you know, to services that's being provided to the community, that's something that truly interested us. You know, when they said to us, hey, you know, we'll be interested in giving meals per week, this is what we kind of already do. So we jumped at that, said, please, you know. So we're looking actually forward to forming a closer bond and see what other initiatives we can get together to actually really get in the Harlem community and see what we can do to help uplift and, you know, make it much stronger, better, create opportunity and jobs. You know, I'm not sure how many staff members were at Cecil's and Minton's before, but you got to think all those jobs are gone. It's a lot of households, you know, so we're looking forward. When I look at this, I don't look at business, you know, I look at people, I look at families and what we can do, you know, to help enrich the community. So we really have, you know, a good group of people that's coming together that understands, you know, the undertaking. We're not just looking at it as a business opportunity.
Totally. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Thank you so much. Ernestine, did you have another question?
Should I repeat it?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm curious about families or singles that live there. Is there a lease agreement? And hopefully they'll transfer to permanent housing. Is there mentorship? Is there monitoring their growth and development? Or is it just a place for them to live and then the commercial businesses are separate?
Mark?
I'll address that. So Housing and Services and Cecil We
Oh, let
offer,
me just give you a little clue.
sure.
I believe this goes back to HUDC,
That's when first,
which
yeah.
Denny Farrell was on the board, Assemblyman Denny
Mhm.
Farrell, and I, Ernestine, was his representative then. So my relationship and your journey goes back many, many years.
That's amazing.
I'm honored.
I'm honored as well. Cecil is a permanent housing development. It's permanent housing already. What HSI does, and Cecil is part of it, we take people from the shelter system and give them permanent homes. And in the building, we have a 24/7 front desk presence. We also have a full maintenance crew during the most of the day. And we also have social services, which are there from 9 to 5 and also available after hours. So we do have a community in that building that is permanent housing. And it is thriving. It's a great building and a great community.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, my pleasure. The restaurant and their commitment to at least once a week taking care of hot meals and for holiday dinners. They came to us with that, which we already would have wanted in the lease. And they expressed immediately, this is something we would love to do and love to be a part of. I actually prepared a statement, but between Atiba and Sunil, they both stole my thunder. Covered everything, basically, but they met, and this is what got our attention. They met when they were trying to join a coalition to feed homeless in Brooklyn and Queens. This is before they knew what we did in our building. And that's what really, really hit home for us. So, I hope that we do get approved, and I hope that they are in this restaurant and jazz club for many years to come. I think they're going to be a tremendous addition to the community of Cecil as well as all of Harlem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just had a quick question. Mark, is it?
Yes.
I apologize. This probably happened before I entered the room late. Are you with HSI or, okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So
I'm the CFO for HSI
Got it.
and Cecil HDFC.
I see. Now I'm getting it's all.
Sorry about
connected. Thank you. I had one other question if I can for Sunil and Atiba. Excuse me, I was gonna say Akiba because it rhymes with Keisha. Can I change your name? Did you have plans to hire locally?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We truly, that's something that we really want to do. As I stated, it's about the people, 100%. And that's what makes us successful. Where we currently are at, what truly, got us through the pandemic was because the support that we have from the local community. It's truly something that's important. So we always want to give back. So over here, for this to work, we can't expect to have people from, really outside. When I say outside, from Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn, don't get me wrong. But from Brooklyn or Queens, we want people from here. The people that were displaced, I need to find out where they're at. Some of the people, if I can bring them back, I will. So it's definitely, we really plan to do a lot of work in this community. I really mean that. I'd like to invite everyone, June 15th, to share this with you. We're being bestowed an award from District Leader Cooper. Okay, it's called the Public Action Figure Award. Okay, so because we do more than just talk about it. We're about actions, and they consider us public figures. I'm a humble guy. However, it's for the work we do in the community. So we're looking forward to doing that here, being a staple here. I will have to look for some place to live at home soon. That's the commitment that I truly will have here. I don't plan to just be, jumping in and jumping out. You guys will see a lot of me around. Definitely, I'm honored to be amongst all the dignitaries that we have here. I didn't know And that's why I'm so nervous. If it's gonna be. But I truly look forward to getting to know everyone. And finding out more, what can we do? What else can we do? Because we have a lot of resources that we like to bring, especially, you gotta understand, the Black Restaurant Coalition is not about Brooklyn. We have Harlem in there, we have Long Island, we have Staten Island, it's all over. So, there's a lot of things that we can do, and this is what we're looking forward to, and being able to, come together with the HSI.
So perhaps in the future, you can come back and you can give us all the details on all of the wonderful things it sounds like you're a part of, okay?
One
One last question, because we gotta get to the vote.
Super quick comment, just FYI, I hold you to it because I'm your neighbor. I literally live a block and a half away.
Absolutely.
And there's so many points of contact that if you need help finding local folks, being in touch with, Frederick Douglass Boulevard Association and other restaurants.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
For staffing, et cetera. I'm gonna give you cards.
All right, wonderful. One more question.
Quick.
About the lease term, the lease for the subtenant is the same duration for the 10 years?
The terms pertain to the arrangement between the subtenant and the sub-landlord, the Cecil.
So it's the
yes,
same
that's
term.
the term.
Yes, thank you. Okay. All right. I will now take a motion, please, for the approval of the lease between Cecil Housing Development Fund Corporation and Legacy Hospitality Group. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Wonderful. Are there any opposed? Well, all in favor, sorry. I'm ahead of myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, wonderful. That is passed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Second item and final item on the agenda, authorization for disposal of the property at 1963-1969 Madison Avenue, New York City, pursuant to Article 6 of the New York State Urban Development Act, authorization to take related actions.
The second item that I'm presenting relates to the proposed disposal of a property located at 1963 to 1969 Madison Avenue, in which an HCBC subsidiary has an ownership interest. The proposed purchaser of the property is ABSW Feeney Joe Williams Jr. Housing Development Fund Company. It is a New York not-for-profit corporation organized pursuant to the New York State Not-for-Profit Corporation Law and Article 11 of the Private Housing Finance Law. The proposed purchaser is an affiliate of the Association of Black Social Workers. This transaction will be structured as a below-market transfer. We previously called this property to the director's attention at the board meeting held on September 16th, 2022. By board resolution passed on that date, the directors already approved some authorizations. First, the directors found that the disposal of the project site to the proposed purchaser satisfies the findings required under the Urban Development Corporation Act, Section 6, Sub 1. The directors also authorized the corporation to enter into negotiations for the sale of the project site to the proposed purchaser or an affiliate thereof in accordance with the UBC Act. The directors further made a written determination that there is no reasonable alternative to the proposed below market transfer that would achieve the same purpose of such transfer in accordance with the Public Authorities Law. And finally, the directors authorized the taking of actions related to the board resolution. Based on those prior authorizations, some negotiation discussions did proceed. We are coming to you today to request authorization to transfer the property to the proposed purchaser for the consideration of $1. The relevant history of this project site dates back to the late 1980s, when one of New York City's first implementations of a federal low-income housing tax credit project, known as a LIHTC project, was sponsored by HCDC's predecessor organization, the Harlem Urban Development Corporation. In a nutshell, LIHTC projects are authorized under the U.S. Tax Reform Act of 1986. Background primer, I promise I'll move through this quickly. These projects involve a dollar for dollar tax credit for affordable housing investments. Accordingly, they incentivize the utilization of private equity in the development of affordable housing. The tax credits may be considered more attractive than tax deductions because they provide a dollar for dollar reduction in a taxpayer's federal income tax, whereas tax deductions only provide a reduction in taxable income. The affordability restrictions associated with LIHTC projects typically expire 15 to 30 years after a project commences. The 1963 to 1969 Madison Avenue site, which we're concerned with today, was one of 5 sites in Harlem to be selected for renovation via HUDC's LIHTC project. The property was previously owned by the city of New York. In or about 1989, New York City's Department of Housing Preservation and Development, HPD, transferred fee title to the land and buildings on the site to HUDC pursuant to the terms of a land disposition agreement. Under that agreement, HPD provided construction loan financing for the renovation of the building, and HUDC, through its affiliate, HUDC TC Inc., agreed to renovate the project site and utilize it for low-income housing. A general project plan was adopted by the HUDC directors on November 14th, 1989. So in terms of ownership structure, HUDC is the fee owner of record for the premises. HUDC's wholly owned subsidiary entered into a limited partnership to undertake the development of the property. The HUDC TC limited partners are American Express, Metropolitan Life, and JP Morgan. A ground lease was conveyed to the 1963 to 1969 Madison Avenue Associates Limited Partnership, which is comprised of the Black Social Workers Services Corporation as the general partner, the HUDC TC Limited Partnership as a limited partner, and HUDC TC Inc. as a special limited partner. The general partner operating the project site is ABSW, C&E Joe Williams Jr. Housing Development Fund Company, the proposed purchaser. It should be noted that in terms of the HUDC TC limited partnership, all of the institutional investors have indicated that they want to discontinue their participation in the project. That is to say, American Express, Metropolitan Life, and JP Morgan no longer wish to continue their involvement with this project. At the end of the ground lease for this site, which I believe expired in 2035, I believe, ownership of the buildings are set to automatically revert back to HCDC. However, the nonprofit affiliate of the Association of Black Social Workers has expressed a desire to take over full operation of the project site beyond the current terms of the ground lease. The nonprofit ABSW affiliate has further asked that HCDC consider a disposal of the project site for less than fair market value, specifically for $1. It should be noted historically that the 1989 general project plan did not directly contemplate proposed sale to the current operators of the project site. However, the memorandum of understanding between HUDC and HPD, which was incorporated by reference into the GPP, explicitly considered that the buildings would be conveyed to, and I quote, a nonprofit housing development corporation for $1, end quote, at the expiration of the tax credit period. Due to the expiration of certain federal and local tax credit benefits, the project site has experienced financial hardship. These financial adversities have required that the current operator explore alternative financing while maintaining its affordable housing objectives. Specifically, ABSW has indicated that critical repair needs continue to accumulate at the site, but they have been forced to defer some maintenance based on cost prohibitive factors. Therefore, this site warrants priority attention. We believe that the proposed project and transfer as contemplated would allow for the rehabilitation of the project site and further would create jobs, would provide a community facility for cultural organizations, and would preserve the inventory of affordable housing in Harlem. Specifically on that point, the proposed purchaser will enter into a regulatory agreement with HPD to ensure long-term affordability at the project site. The directors are asked to authorize negotiations for the sale of the project site, continued negotiations for the sale of the project site to the proposed purchaser or an affiliate thereof for the purchase price of $1. So we're getting more explicit as to the proposed consideration. That was still an open question back in September. Additional terms would include the assumption by the proposed purchaser of certain outstanding debt secured by the property, mortgage loans, things of that nature. Resolution by the proposed purchaser of outstanding violations and fines that have been levied against the property based on the need to defer certain critical maintenance due to cost prohibitive factors, as well as reimbursement by the proposed purchaser of reasonable closing costs, all in accordance with the UDC Act. That concludes my legal presentation.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so are there any questions or discussion that from the directors for our lawyer first? Madam Chair.
I guess I'll start with, do you have an estimate of what the amount of the repairs, fees, fines, violations is?
With respect to the violations, the fines are quite significant. We know as of year end, 2022, they exceeded $300,000 in fines. However, efforts are underway to find methods to try to get some of these violations waived and are otherwise, the fees rather waived and are otherwise addressed. So HCDC and ESD are prepared to partner to try to identify means to clear or otherwise address and resolve the outstanding fines. But HCDC and ESD will not be assuming financial responsibility for those fines.
And the closing costs, I guess the entire, so I, of course, would love for this to move forward. I have concerns that, and this is why I'm asking a series of questions, just because I want to understand how this is going to be managed. It sounds like what I read was that the cost would be the $1 plus the violations, fees, fines, and closing costs, which will be, so closing costs are, do we have an estimate as to how much that is?
That's something that would be the subject of further negotiation.
Okay.
That we can come back to the board with.
Okay, well, it's not that I know that they are assuming the closing costs. It's, so there's that, and then there are repairs that are necessary. So my real question is, my concern is I would hate to see us transition a property to an organization that means very well, does very well, but doesn't have the means to do all the upgrades and so forth. So has there been discussion around how to finance the repairs that are needed so that the tenants, who everybody deserves quality, affordable housing, so that the tenants are also getting quality, affordable housing? Has that been discussed? Like what repairs are necessary, how much that will cost, and how that will be financed?
There has been discussion.
Yeah. With one of the organizations you're familiar with, CPC, I know. And during that particular time, they also transitioned from a managing partner. You guys have a new managing agent there. Actually, the work of Sean Covington's, his organization, which does property management in the community. And so they're working with a number of banks, to look at how we might be able to structure this, this ownership that they can take on a mortgage to affect those repairs that they have in the building, which are substantial.
Yeah, so the hope is that this transfer, just to piggyback on what President Archer shared, the hope is that this transfer of the fee simple ownership interest would enable more financing options to present themselves. That would,
We're talking for brownstone, so 20 feet wide, so you're talking 100 by 50, all, each separate, right? Each separate? Got it. And so.
The equity in the property should allow them enough forethought to get whatever money they need to.
Do the repairs.
Go down.
Yes.
The other things are liens that they have to do closing anyway.
Right.
So it's about, can they raise the money? If they got 4 brownstones, they should, I don't know what the cost of the repairs are, because they could be $3 billion, who knows? The fact is they do have an asset, which they do have equity, and they should be able to raise money. But that, like I said, should doesn't mean definitely. We've been doing a lot of shoulds.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, that was what I was trying to run through in my head, is you're talking 3 buildings, at least each of them probably worth $2.5 million, something like that.
Right.
So their equity should allow them to at least, you got a few mortgage brokers that would find it, but that's it.
You hear that, right?
Are there any other questions? I know you have questions for the.
Yeah, well, you guys, where's your organization going to be during all this renovation?
We have not gone into agreement with anyone in terms of that at this point, but we have been in discussion with CPC for a long time. This is not something that just has occurred. We've been working on this since the limited partnership expired 15 years ago to acquire these buildings. And so CPC has been in agreement to refinance the buildings, but we could not go into agreement until this was finalized. It would make no sense for the Association of Black Social Workers to refinance buildings that they did not own. So, but we've been committed to this project since the beginning. We're the only entity who has invested their own time, money, and efforts to keep this building afloat. Wherever we can make repairs, we have. We have waived any fees that go to the organization for managing the buildings. Those fees go back into the buildings so that they can be maintained for the tenants. So if you walk by the buildings, you'll see they're well kept. We've done some facade work, and we're putting in new lighting, painting. I mean, and we're talking about 2 and 3 bedroom apartments that are priced and affordable. So we hope that you will approve this, because it's a long time coming. And believe me, I am overwhelmed by just getting to this point, which has taken so many years. It's amazing that, the things are presented and can be approved in one day, and I've been coming back and forth for 14 years.
Wow.
And she recently stepped aside as the president. Association of
No, that was back in 1974, man. I'm very concerned about it.
All right, well, you heard the lady. We're ready to vote. We're ready to get this done. All right, we are voting on the authorization for the disposal of the property at 1969 Madison Ave, pursuant to Article 6 of the New York State Urban Development Act. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
You can still call me though.
I told Mr. Archer yesterday, if they don't approve this, I won't even have any here.
Well, this has been one of the most joyous meetings we have had. So since we have no further business, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion. to
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposals? Okay, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Before everyone, not yet.